And good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Omega Files. As your host, Dr. Freedom. And once again, we've assembled a panel from across everywhere, anywhere in the Whoniverse to discuss some many things that are going on with Doctor Who, especially being the 50th anniversary year. And oh my God, it's hard to believe. It's T-minus 7 days and counting. I'm not kidding. I just can't believe it when I say it. We are now 1 week officially from the 50th anniversary special. Let me go around and introduce my panel. One of the usual suspects is here. Say hello, Vil.
Hello, Vil.
Okay. Also joining us is Ross.
Hey, guys.
AJ.
Hey there.
Lady Gallifrey for some colorful commentary if she decides to pop in.
Hello.
And joining us for the first time tonight, all the way from Scotland, is Callan. Why don't you say hello to the folks? Tell us, how you became a Whovian and maybe a little bit about yourself.
Wow. Right, I'm not quite sure. I probably saw the first episode of Doctor Who when an earthly child. I've been a Doctor Who fan ever since. Not quite sure also. I was going to say something, I'm glad it's only 7 days till the 50th anniversary, because as a fellow Scot would say, I can't take much more of this cotton.
Oh yeah, I can see where you're coming from with that one.
Yeah, I know it's wrong franchise, but never mind.
Yeah, everybody is literally to the point they're biting their nails,
Yeah, I'm going past that point and then again. I'm not quite sure. What else would you like me to tell you about? I'll put my foot up in a second, but I won't keep it up for very long. I don't want to scare you.
That's okay. Just, was anything else you just want to feel free to reveal? Nothing major.
I'm not a particularly new Who fan, but plenty of people are, so as long as people are happy, I'm happy. I like to see everybody happy. Alright, I'm mad, but well.
Okay, now joining us at the last minute, everyone say hello to the Fezman. Hi, Fezman. How you doing?
Hello. Hey, Fezman.
Hi.
Hi, is everyone?
Hi.
Fezman.
Okay, so here we are. We're 7 days out from the 50th anniversary special. We've all seen the clip, and now that I have a new panel here, completely different from last night, I want to go around and ask this panel what they thought of Night of the Doctor. I'll start with Vil, and we'll go around.
Well, I enjoyed Night of the Doctor. I was really happy to see the Eighth Doctor in there, and that was a perfect way to break the fourth wall when he introduced himself. That was just over the top, and just the whole story, it just really captured my attention and drew me in. It was like he should have been on the screen the whole time. And then the way that they had him exit, I thought that it fit pretty well with what we had already discussed and pretty damn well knew was going on. Overall, I think that it just sucks that that's all that we're going to get of any classic Doctors in the 50th, and I hope to be proven wrong, but so far I say great story. Still doesn't excuse having an 8th year New Who Fest when it should be all 50 years.
Okay. Callan, what did you think? You've seen Night of the Doctor, right, with Paul McGann?
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, it was really good. I mean, hoping for more Doctor Who like that. That's again, that one ticked all the boxes. You couldn't really make it much better. Yeah, excellent.
Okay, Ross?
Yeah, great one. Loved it. Unexpected as well. I didn't expect it to come out that day. And quite a shocker. I think it's quite good how we've finally got this void clear of when the time period between Omega and the Doctors after that. I like how we kind of feel this, and we kind of know that Omega's not like the Doctor who fought in the Time War. He's more like the person who was there at the start of it, then carried on as another Doctor through it. And I kind of like that. I wish it was a bit longer than 7 minutes, but at least we got 7 minutes. I know some people were saying that it should be an entire episode, but then even if you did have an entire episode, some people would say we should have had a two-parter for it. So I'm just glad we got something. And that's me at the moment.
I agree with you. You know, in a way, you know, like I said, I would have rather have had, you know, Paul McGann entire episode and all that. But, you know, the more I think about it, the happier I get that we just, you know, we finally got him back on screen. Yeah. All right. April?
Yeah, I watched the episode yesterday and it blew my mind when I heard that Sister of Khan was involved. Harking back to that Tom Baker episode, Brain and Morbius. And the whole vocalization of Paul McGann, just, you know, when he's screaming for everyone to get out while he regenerates. Sort of the power in his voice. It was really, really powerful. Just
Well,
the emotion behind it.
Yeah, you're
Sorry.
right. That voice. Sorry, I just wanted to agree with you. Yeah, that voice.
And he had great last words for that doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, physician, heal thyself.
Yeah,
That was perfect.
that was
Right.
incredible.
I
Oh,
loved how quick he jumped into character as well. Like, he seemed like he never left.
I know
Is
that's what else I was about to bring up. It seemed like, yeah, he just stepped right back into it like it was yesterday.
Well,
You know?
big finish.
Oh, yeah. You know,
Well,
some-
yeah, there is a big finish, but you do have there is a slight difference in that. He is actually acting as the Doctor on screen, and especially considering now that you got like Matt Smith and David Tennant, who are technically like the superior actors as today, I would say.
Well,
He steps up and just takes over the role. You kind of forget about the previous Doctors or the Doctors we have now.
And
It's just him. He just commands it. It's brilliant how he does it.
absolutely true, but it should be expected because not only has he been continuing to play that part, which means that he has the thought for it in his head, but he's a trained screen actor, so stepping into any role physically as well as just doing audio should be second nature.
Yeah.
I know. A lot of people forget that. It's like, yeah, that he's been in a lot of big pictures. You know, you don't really, you know, he's not one of the big, huge names. You know, well, over there he is. You know, but here in America, you know, if I ask anybody, you know, who, you know, Paul McGann is, they'll look at me like, huh? But, you know, like he was in, you know, as I brought up last night with the guys, he was in Three Musketeers with Charlie Sheen, Oliver Platt, and Kiefer Sutherland. He was in
Queen of the Damned.
Yeah, Queen of the Dam, which I hate to mention, to be honest with you. Because Queen of the Dam is what happened when you take two 1,000-page novels and try to slam them into a 90-minute movie. But
Yeah.
Alien 3, and I loved his role in Alien 3 because he was this totally little sniveling guy, this little coward dude, like, I can't believe it, you know. But, okay, hang on, before I forget him, let's bring in the Fezman. Fezman, what'd you think of Night of the Doctor?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good, like what most people were saying. But again, like whatever people are saying, I think it should have been longer. Like I wanted to see more Paul McGann because he was only in the TV movie for 90 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he should have been longer. But apart from that, it was very good. And like I thought it was very good the way he was introduced. Like I'm a doctor, but not the one you're expecting. Like I thought there were some very good lines for him, and just what I find odd is that was in his birthday during week he was 54, wasn't he?
Yeah. Matter of fact, that was they put it out the day of his birthday.
Yeah, and isn't Peter Capaldi, he's 55.
Mm-hmm.
And this what I find odd is that Moffat doesn't want like any 20th century doctors involved where Paul McGann is fit and able to be in the role. Like why can't he be in the special? And many fans want him to be in. Like what is that with Moffat anyway?
Okay, I can explain why. Everybody sit down. If you're listening out there, there's going to be a spoiler warning on the beginning of this vid. There's going to be a spoiler warning in the description. And now you're getting one now, so I don't want to hear, Dr. Freedom, you're right. I don't want to hear it. Okay, the reason why they did this was Hurt's character is going to be another incarnation. All right, the easiest way I have to explain this is the number of doctors hasn't changed, but let's for now call the being we know as the Time Lord himself, we'll call him Theta Sigma. Of Theta Sigma's incarnations, there have been 11 doctors, but Matt Smith is now currently the last incarnation.
13th.
Yes, the reason why. Because if you include Hurt's incarnation, and then you also add in the botched / meta-crisis Doctor that was done in Stolen Earth, that brings up Matt Smith as being the last incarnation of the being we know as Theta Sigma, aka the 11th Doctor. They are counting the regeneration at the end of the Stolen Earth.
Okay.
So Peter Capaldi is going to be the first Doctor of a whole new life cycle. At least that's what I'm being told, and I'm being told this by a lot of very reputable sources.
Actually, Peter Capaldi will be the last one.
No. All right, let me explain it, because I had to explain this to the guys last night. You had Hartnell regenerates into Patrick Troughton. That's one. Goes to John Pertwee. That's two. Tom Baker, 3. Peter Davison, 4. Colin Baker, 5. Sylvester McCoy, 6. Then we go, of course, into Sylvester McCoy, 6. Paul McGann, 7, a.k.a. the 8th Doctor. Then John Hurt, the 8th regeneration, I slipped up, didn't I? A.k.a. the 9th Doctor. Then you go into Christopher Eccleston, who will be the 10th Doctor, 9th regeneration. Then you go into David Tennant, who is the 10th Doctor, 9th regeneration. No, sorry, 11th. He's the 11th incarnation, 10th regeneration. Then you had the meta-crisis. He did burn a regeneration. That counts. Hence, the meta-crisis Doctor is 11. And then he regenerated into Matt Smith. That was his 12th regeneration. That's how Moffat's doing this. I have this from very inside guys. That's why Moffat told you to go back and count the regenerations again, because that's exactly what they're doing.
Right, okay. I've added this up wrong then.
All right.
Because I've got the 8th Doctor as the 7th regeneration. Which would make John Hurt's character the 8th one.
Yeah, you're right.
So 9th Doctor will be the 9th regeneration.
No. Okay. Hurt is the 9th incarnation, and then he regenerates into Christopher Eccleston, who is technically the 10th incarnation, 9th Doctor. You see, because
okay, yeah. Right.
Hurt's character doesn't take that title, but he has used 12 regenerations. Okay, so yeah, that's what's going to happen at the end of the Christmas. It's going to have a lot to do with what's going on in the Christmas special. Okay, now one other thing I wanted to bring up before we get into all that, though, and before we wander down into that territory, because I want to go around the panel. All right, did everybody watch the clip that was put up yesterday for Children in Need? Anybody miss it?
I saw it.
Okay, anybody else see it?
Yeah, I think I saw it.
I saw it.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so I'll make it a jump ball on this one. What do you think about that? Whoever beeps it in first gets it.
I just wanted to know where the time portal came from when they were at the art museum and when he jumps in and then he meets David Tennant. I got confused with that.
Yeah, and I wanted to know if those portals were really Gallifrey.
As far as I know, you're going to find out that they're Gallifrey, and they're from the last day before the end of the Time War. Matter of fact, I think the name of the one painting is Gallifrey Falls.
What was interesting to me is, at the beginning, the painting behind Clara was a bunch of Cybermen fighting over something.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, that's cool. So what else is down there? Is that what's times changed, or was that something that actually did happen and was painted?
You see, that's what's weird. Apparently, the Doctor's going to get a letter from Elizabeth I, and it's just, it is mind-boggling. I can't figure out for the life of me how this happened, but they're calling it Time Lord art, where the actual event is somehow captured, but For some reason, these paintings were around since the Elizabethan era.
Oh, that's interesting.
Recently activated or something, turned them on, from what I'm hearing.
What if it's a situation like Girl in the Fireplace, where the mirrors became portals between that French time period and that spaceship with Madame de Pompadour? What happens if it's the same situation?
That could be possible.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ross.
I was going to say that could be really possible, especially the way that they were talking about how the painting smashed from the outside or inside, whatever it was. So obviously that something broke out of the painting. So that could be, the paintings could be technically a time zone as well. So.
Sorry, I just had to tell somebody something. One quick side note, and I'm going to announce this again, just for the general public. Everybody's been running around screaming all day at me about Stephen Moffat playing Tom Baker in An Adventure in Space and Time. It's a fake! All right? Just to get that out there. All right. I keep having to explain to everybody that the whole thing with that it was an IMDb page, and somebody stuck it on there, and I'm like, guys, IMDb is known for its unreliability. It's not going to happen. It's bogus. I have that on the highest authority. That's bogus. What happened was there was going to be a scene in Adventure in Space and Time where Gatiss was going to play John Pertwee, and they were going to go into the filming of the Three Doctors. But from what he said at the BFI panel, they couldn't afford to do it. All right.
Yeah, I think now it ends. I'm pretty sure that the end year is about 1966.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay, but let's get back to what we're talking about. So Day of the Doctor is looking like, from what I know, that those paintings are a portal to Gallifrey, and something has come out of it. But at the same time, how many of you really liked the way that they had Matt Smith just drop in on David Tennant? That was hilarious.
That was pretty funny.
Okay. Now I'm going to go into a few articles.
And he implanted the likeness of Fez on his earlier self.
Okay, so any more questions about the clip or Day of the Doctor you need cleared up or anything?
No.
Okay, because I don't like to be the dominating voice in podcasts. I like to everybody have a chance to speak. So, so if anybody has any questions, any comments, whatever, feel free to say something. All right.
I was going to say it quite like the lines that John Hurt delivers. I'm looking for a doctor. And the responding line is, well, you've certainly come to the right place. I think those two lines are very well delivered.
Oh, I love that bit too.
Yeah.
Plus, you can't just ever walk by a Fez, can you?
Yeah.
Never gonna happen.
Oh man, that was funny as heck. Okay, let's move on, because I have a couple things I want to get into besides all that. Now, as we all know, this particular segment with Paul McGann was written by Stephen Moffat. And I just brought this up just before we started recording, and I want to read this headline, and I want to get your reactions to it, for the folks who are out there who haven't heard it yet. An article just came up on Casturberus today saying J.J. Abrams should have Stephen Moffat on speed dial. Now let's start with Fezman, and we'll go back around the other way this time. Fezman, what do you think about that?
Do you mean because of his secretary, or with Stephen Moffat being so secret all the time, and JJ being secret about Star Wars? Is that what you mean?
Well, or maybe it's referring, to his writing ability.
Oh, but he never finishes plot lines. No.
Believe it or not, it's coming. He is finishing them, but.
Oh, well, I hope so.
Did he go to regenerate back into John Nathan Turner?
No. We don't want to resurrect John Nathan Turner.
Okay.
Please leave him and his Hawaiian shirts where they are now. All right. All right.
Hopefully in Hawaii.
Yeah. Let's pass it on to AJ. AJ, what do you think about that?
I'm thinking maybe they're going to get together and procreate and hopefully have a decent writer in the future. Those two, but something that's not going to be totally fallible.
That
But
was Neil Gaiman artificially inseminates them.
but I'm not sure about that. It probably sounds like a movie deal, not a Doctor Who thing, probably.
Okay. Let's move on
Yeah.
to Ross. Ross, what do you think about that?
I really don't know, actually. If it's about Stephen Moffat's writing capability, then yeah, fair enough. Because when Moffat has enough time to write, he actually produces some good stuff. It's when he's got multiple things to multitask, like the series, like when he's doing multiple stories in a series, I think he struggles then, and that's when they become really weak. So I think if he spends time on something, it may be good. But if it's about his secrecy, then yeah, definitely go for him, because he never fucking says a word, does he?
Oh.
Sorry about that, F-bomb, no!
Okay, Callan?
I don't really know J.J. Abrams' work, so you had to leave me out of this one. Is he a director or a writer, both? You had to tell me.
Yeah.
He just did the new Star Trek movies. Yeah, he's a very famous director/writer. He also did the TV series Lost, Fringe, and a few other things.
Oh, well, in that case, I really don't know his work enough. I didn't see the first new Star Trek movie. I thought it was all right. I just saw it because I just wanted to see what they'd done with it.
I'm going to warn you right now, though, when you do go to see it, be ready for the lens flares.
Are they that bad?
Yes, it is that bad. They turned the bridge of the Enterprise into an Apple iPod store. Okay.
I'll be sure to take my sunglasses.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do. Okay, Bill, I'm ready because I know what you're going to say.
Oh. Yeah. I'm just trying to figure out how I can say it without ruining your rating on here. I'm that fed up. It's just, at this point, the only reason I'm even bothering to watch the 50th anniversary is the mere hope that maybe I'm wrong.
Okay. Now I'm going to hit you. Huh?
And the Christmas episode, honestly, I don't. If it weren't for Peter Capaldi being in it, I don't think I'd even watch it.
All right. Okay, now I'm going to hit you with a headline I hit everybody with last night, and I got some very interesting reactions to this one. But now that I have a whole new panel, I want to get some fresh perspective on this. Okay, because I really love all the different opinions I'm getting just based off this article. Okay, over on Radio Times, they popped this up last night. Doctor Who 50th anniversary. 5 reasons why Rose Tyler is the show's best companion ever. Now, I'm going to start with Vil this time. We'll go back the other way around.
5 reasons. I'm going to say that every last one of them is found in a pharmacy or on the street somewhere.
Brian, can I just ask, what are the 5 reasons?
Okay, here's the 5 reasons that Radio Times does give. Okay, just so y'all know. She was the first fleshed out companion, which she made the Doctor better. She came from nothing. Then she became the Bad Wolf. And then sticking with the Doctor through and through. That's the 5 reasons they give on the Radio Times ad.
Now, Dr. Freedom, if you count girth, the character did fill out well.
Okay. Okay, so Callan, I don't know. Do you really think Rose Tyler, though, best companion ever?
Oh no, what? No, sorry, she's down for my pretty much worst companion ever. But having said that, seeing the trailer, she's delivering those lines in it as well as anyone could. She's really nailed those lines, and hopefully there'll be more good stuff from Rose Tyler in the 50th.
Okay. Ross?
Okay. Right, I don't know how to start this. Fleshed out. In series 1, maybe. Bad Wolf was the best part of Rose Tyler. Through and through, as a companion, no. She was selfish and didn't really care about anyone else. She just wanted the Doctor. So I absolutely hate Rose. Rose is like one of the worst companions I've ever come across, and I always hated her. And I just wish she died in the end, in Doomsday, because that would have been the perfect ending to a crap companion.
You know, I agree with you totally, but I would add this. She would be a wonderful, wonderful companion for the Valyard.
Ooh.
Mm.
I never thought of that. That's evil. I'm starting to like you more, Bill. Okay. Okay, AJ.
I wouldn't say she's probably one of the best companions. Maybe, I don't know, top 12 maybe. But she did have a bit more of a background than the classic companions when you sort of thought about it. You didn't know much about the past companions' lives before they met the Doctor, more or less. So it's sort of to keep up with the 21st century, you know, everything needs a backstory now. That's what I think.
All right. Now let's pass this on to the Fezman.
Well, I can understand why people don't like Rose, but I think from series 1 she was okay. It's just when, like, in series 2 with like the whole love story business, really just it sort of got a bit silly at times, and then like after she left, like that's all David Tennant thought about, and then she comes back again in series 4, and then she comes back again in the end of time as a cameo, and now she's coming back in the 50th. But in the 50th, is she the actual character of Rose Tyler, or maybe like a Bad Wolf, or you know, something like that, or what do you think?
All right. So, yeah, but I guess I have a hard time accepting her as being best companion ever. You know, it's just, yeah, she was more fleshed out. We did get to learn more about her life, but at the same time, they keep beating her like a dead horse. They keep bringing her back over and over and over and over again. It's like, you know, and as I brought up before, now I'm going to ask the panel this question. If you wanted to bring back, now keep in mind, this is the 50th anniversary of the show, one companion from the entirety of the series, and I'm you know, preferably living, but let's say living or dead. Who would you have rather have had in that slot? Let's start with Fezman. We'll go back the other way.
Definitely Susan. I want to find out what happened to her, and if you're going to celebrate 50 years, like you have to celebrate the past as well, and not just look to the future. And in the episode, in the Dalek invasion of Earth, the Doctor said he would come back, and like we don't know if he came back or not, and like I want to sort of find out what happened. And as in the actress, Karen Forty is going to be at that convention in London,
Okay.
and it's not going to be a bit awkward for her being there and Stephen Moffat's being there, while like she wasn't a part of the 50th, while like she was the first companion, and I think maybe Moffat might be showing a bit of a disrespect towards her. I think
I know. I was saying that last night. They should have had Susan Foreman back, because that's something that's not been resolved in 50 years. Almost. Okay, AJ?
I was just having a hard think about which companion. Sarah Jane, if she was still around, Elizabeth Sladen.
Oh, definitely.
I could probably see her being more of a powerful character than Rose Tyler.
Oh, yeah. We all miss Liz this year.
Yeah.
Okay, Ross?
Shame what happened to her.
Can we have a companion from a certain time period? Like, say how, let's say Adric, for example. I know Adric died, but if you brought Adric back today, he'd be pretty old, wouldn't he? But I would have the Brigadier from when he was with the Third Doctor.
Oh, that would be interesting.
And have him tie in the story along with that or something. Or, but if you can't, not counting that, definitely Susan. I want to wrap that story up.
Yeah. Callan.
Well, I just had to bring back my favourite companion of all time, just for the hell of it, but I don't know if anybody else would be interested. Zoe Elliott for me. She was
Yeah.
my favourite.
I'd love to see her come back, even just for one adventure. That would have been nice. Okay, Vil?
I think that I would go with the Romana Mark One.
Yeah, we lost Mary Tam too a little while back. Yeah.
Unfortunately. But that said, I like the overall character enough, even though I prefer her. I prefer her a lot. I would still like to have Lava Ward come back, and if she didn't want to keep up with it, get a regeneration and have that character go on for a while.
Yeah.
And how about the one that I can't think of her name, but the one that plays Romana 3 in Big Finish?
Juliet Landau.
Yeah, thanks. For some reason, I can never remember her name.
Well, the only reason I remember is because she's Martin Landau's daughter. Okay, so let's move on. Now let's get to one that I know Vil's going to be very interested in, because this was recorded at Hurricane Who. Okay, now given what we've just seen happen this week, we have to make a judgment call here. And I'm going to read you the following quote, and this came from Colin Baker. I'm not in it. I can say that Peter isn't because I've seen him recently, and I can tell you that Sylvester isn't, and neither is Paul. None of us have been deemed worthy of inclusion in a program that celebrates 50 years of a British television program, of which I was in it for 3. We are surplus baggage. Now, let's go around and say, what do you think of that statement, and could it be that he's trying to cover something up? You think maybe he's lying? And I'm going to ask the man who talked to him himself. Vil, what do you think?
I think that it's possible that he's lying. I'm not going to completely exclude it. But I really sincerely believe him on that. It came across to me like he's really upset at the lack of inclusion of the classic Doctors, yet at the same time, he's also going to bat for him. And I actually have to go into more of what he said in order to do it justice, because you can't focus on that one thing and really capture what he seemed to be doing. What happened was, at one point, he also mentioned the whole issue of age, and he said, we just don't look like we used to decades back, and really wouldn't look so great in the costume, pretty much echoing Stephen Moffat's argument. And then one of the other fans beat me to it and said what I know most of us had to be thinking. He said, we wouldn't mind at all, to which Colin Baker mouthed a silent thank you. So even though Colin Baker is expressing his irritation at not being included, and I'm more inclined to think that that's genuine, for whatever reason, he's also still going to bat for Stephen Moffat, which tells me that they've got to be working on something together. Otherwise, why in the hell would he back on Stephen Moffat at all?
Okay. Fezman, whatever you're working on, you're drowning everybody out. The tap sounds drowning everybody's voices up. It's just, all right, the reason I'm bringing it up is because with MP3 Skype recorder, any noise that happens while someone's talking, the program will lock onto that noise and it'll drop people's voice out. And
All right.
yeah, it kind of sucks though when you go to put it up and you can't hear what everybody's saying. So, okay, all right, let's move on to Callan. Based off that and all that, and based just off, we've seen Paul McGann come back. Do you think Colin's lying here, or do you think maybe he's genuinely, upset?
I don't know. I have my doubts. I mean, there was a few doctors having that protest with their placards. I mean, that doesn't ring true to me. Nobody. They've got other things to do, and if they start protesting about this, that, and the next thing, I think their chance of getting jobs doing other things is going to be reduced. I think it was a put-up job. I think they were put up to do that, and somebody put them up to. Somebody put up the press to take their photographs. That's the way it rings to me, and I think it might be being sold a pop here, and maybe Colin Baker's maybe just having this on a little bit. I don't know. We'll see later on. I think there might be a chance there. You'd think that Tom Baker would come back for the 50th because he's the most popular classic Who Doctor.
You see, you just brought up an interesting point. That's the one name that nobody has mentioned is Tom Baker.
Well, I would say if he doesn't come back in the 50s, it's pretty much an epic fail.
Oh, heck yeah. Ross?
I don't know what to think of this at all, because we know that a lot of actors have lied in the past about certain things like this. Could he be lying? Most possibly he could. Could be telling the truth? Yes, he could be telling the truth that he's not going to be in it. I think the whole issue behind it is if they fit in the story. This is my argument around it. If they fit in the story, they fit in. If they're not needed, I understand that, but we kind of need something of them in it. So I really hope what they're saying is a lie, because I don't think it would be as... It'll be a good 50th, but it wouldn't be the 50th.
Well, Ross, with what you're saying there, I'm kind of agreeing with most of that, but in all honesty, if they wouldn't fit the story, then the story should be rewritten. It's the 50th anniversary, not the 8th.
I suppose, but it depends on, do you want it more of a fan fest or an actual story?
This is the 50th anniversary. I demand both. They've done it for others. There's no excuse. They have the talent. These are not stupid people. It's Stephen Moffat's ego all of the way. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it in my mind, and unless he surprises us with a miracle, and I hope that he does, yeah, it could. I'm sure that it will be a wonderful story, but on the standards of the 50th, it won't cut it.
See, I don't think it is Moffat's ego, because I think if it wasn't Moffat's ego, he would definitely have him in there, just so everyone could praise him. So, I just think it's a pure fact that they may not be needed if they're in it, so, which is disappointing in a way.
I'm still having faith they may just pop up somewhere. You know, it probably won't be a major part of the story or anything like that, but, you know, maybe just an image or something like that somewhere, or maybe a voiceover. That's what I think, because I don't think he'd, leave them all out. You know, I think he'd try to include them in some little way even. That's my opinion. You know? Go ahead.
I'm just a bit worried. I wouldn't like them to be in it and then land up kind of running around, and then landing up with one of the classic doctors having a heart attack. That's what I don't want.
Well, the thing is, if I were writing it personally, I would do it in a way that you could put the classic doctors in an advisory role where they could stay, like, say, in the TARDIS console room or their TARDIS or whatever, and then have the younger guys like Paul McGann, Dave Tennant and Matt Smith, running around doing the active stuff.
Yeah, that would be the way forward. That would be a bit touch of class. But you might have to completely remake all their console rooms, which would be a major take on in the expense.
Well, given green screening technology and all that, the way it's come today, all they'd have to do is set up a green screen somewhere, and that's easily taken care of for as Tom Baker goes. But the good news is, as far as Fifth Doctor on, the original console room still exists. It's sitting at the Doctor Who Experience.
Oh, that's excellent. Well, they did go to something like that to do some filming, didn't they?
Yeah, because the 10th Doctor console room is at the Doctor Who Experience. They had to go film it there. Also, they had to do the little variant of it for John Hurt's Doctor.
Yeah.
Okay, let's pass that question on to AJ. Colin Baker, do you think he's genuinely upset, or maybe you think he's concealing something? What's your opinion on this?
I think he's really upset because, they might not look physically the same, but they still all sound quite similar to how they sound like 30 years ago, respectively to each one. I don't see why they couldn't be involved the way they look today. You have that excuse like from the time crash with the 5th Doctor and the 10th Doctor. Use that, the time differential, and they've aged rapidly.
Exactly. That's what I was hoping, given Moffat wrote that. That's why I was so hopeful for this year, that he's going to do something along that line. But, you never know with him. With the Moff, all things are possible. He has been saying that, this came from Moff himself, that he's been lying his arse off all year. So
Unless they're saying, the movie's 75 minutes and it turns out it is 90 minutes and he's lying that much, but I doubt that.
I was really hoping.
Sorry.
You know what I really would have loved to have seen? It really would have made my day, just to throw this in before we go to the Fezman. If they had taken the 7-minute thing with Paul McGann and made that the opening before the titles.
That would have been
Yeah,
awesome.
that would have been great.
Yeah.
That would have been fantastic.
Yeah, that would be epic. That would be the way forward. Hopefully we may get that in the DVD, the Blu-ray.
Yeah, that would be fantastic if they made that for an extended cut or something like that. That would be great. Okay, let's go to the Fezman. Colin Baker, based off that statement, and based off the fact Paul McGann's just appeared, in that short, do you think that he might be concealing something, or do you think he's genuinely upset?
Well, I would like to think he's lying because, again, like when Billie Piper was on the Graham Norton show way back, like in January, like she was asked if she was back, and she said no, and then she was in it, and then you get wasn't it Peter Davison and Sylvester McCoy protesting at one of the old BBC stations, but it was like they thought it was going to film for something.
Oh, yeah, they were
Yeah.
filming a skit. It's called Day of the Fish Doctor. It's going to air the day of the 50th.
Yeah, because I think Brian, because like in the next 10 years, you're probably not going to get many of the other doctors. Like Tom Baker's only 79, and he probably unfortunately won't be around for the 60th anniversary. So this is really their only chance to be in it, and hopefully Moffat can get them, and Disney wants people to be surprised, and it probably would be a bit of a mess if they all had larger roles. Like look at how Dimensions in Time turned out to be. I know it wasn't really a non-canon episode, but you had all the current Doctors at the time, but it wasn't really that great. Many of the fans didn't like it, and maybe Moffat doesn't want something like that.
Okay. All right, I can see that.
Yeah.
Now, also on the radio times, before we go into the big stuff, because I'm going to go into Christmas next. Somebody dropped some change. Grab it. Okay, yeah, me personally, the one thing I did pick up out of this was the fact that Colin Baker, none of them have ever mentioned Tom Baker's name. It's always been, Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, and they're always referring to themselves and Paul McGann. They've never referred to Tom Baker. And we do have a scene coming up in the 50th anniversary where you see Ingrid Oliver there as a character named Osgood, and she's standing there wearing Tom Baker's scarf. And I think Ross got the line where it's in Trafalgar Square, and just after the TARDIS gets dropped, that Matt Smith walks up to her and goes, "Nice scarf," and she goes, "You should know, you gave it to me." And then he throws her this really quizzical look, like he's not sure what she's talking about. So I'm really hoping that there's some wiggle room in there for Tom. So, okay, now let's get into one more before I go into the big stuff. Another thing that literally just popped up last night, early this morning. 50th anniversary, David Tennant and Billie Piper named Best Companion, Doctor and Companion. I don't know on this one myself, but I don't know. Let's start with the Fezman and go around. If you had a choice of Best Doctor and Companion, who do you think it should be?
Well, I don't really watch much of the classic series.
That's
mostly,
okay. Opinions are welcome.
It's really quite hard to think. Well, can you get back to me on that one just to sort of
Okay.
think about that? Yeah.
Oh, sure. Go ahead. AJ?
Just one word. Ace.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love those two together. I loved Sylvester McCoy and Sophie Aldred.
Yeah, just a bounce back. Just a bounce back between them.
Plus the fact that in his era, maybe it's just me, but it seemed to me like they got back to a more like a mentor type of relationship. A mentor-student / maybe even almost a father-daughter style relationship there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I really liked about it. Okay, so good choice. Ross, who would you pick for a Doctor Companion Rio best?
You know what? I really don't know. I would probably say Sylvester McCoy and Seventh and Ace. I think they do have the best dynamic. all the current series, I'd say either Tennant and Donna
Oh,
or
yes.
Matt and Amy, because I kind of like their dynamic.
Yeah, I loved Donna Noble. I thought she was an incredible character, and especially Catherine Tate, who was mainly a comedic actress, stepped right into it and did it so well.
Mhm.
Okay, Callan, who would you pick as a best Doctor companion, type, for you?
Well, it's easy for me being a old school Doctor Who fan. Patrick Troughton and Zoe Elliott, Jamie McCrimmon. But that's my two companions there. Sorry.
Okay. So Dr. Jamie McCrimmon, once again, a good combination. I like them too. Yeah, like I said, I got to go back and watch it again because it's been so long since I've had. And also, there are very few that I've watched. But what happens is I'm a little bit biased because I also listened to Mike Troughton's book and the way he described their relationship on and off screen. It seemed like it was incredible. All right, Vil, best Doctor companion duo for you. Who would it be?
Wow. I'm going to say that it's going to be a really fun toss-up here. I would put the first Doctor and Susan. I'd put the seventh Doctor and Ace. Those two relationships are very similar in my mind, but also on equal par for completely different reasons. I really like the overall banter between the Doctor and both Romanas.
Okay, who was that again? I'm sorry, I missed it. I was Doctor and Romana, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, which Romana? Romana 1 again?
Really, both of them, although the first Romana is by far my favorite.
Okay. All right, so not a bad choice there, two Time Lords together. Me, just to throw it out there, I have to stick with Tom Baker and Leela. Because Leela was such a complete turnaround from all the previous companions at that point. She was not, by no means, just please save me, Doctor. She was out there kicking people's butts, stabbing people, and killing them with Janus thorns.
She kicked a lot of ass.
Yeah, so
She would have been great with the third Doctor.
Oh yeah, I can see that now.
The Master would have had a much different end.
Pertwee with Leela. Oh my God, I can see. Oh God, that would be hilarious, man.
I smell fan fiction.
Oh. Okay. Now I'm going to go into Chris. All right. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Cal.
I was going to say, does anyone else get the same feeling that I do? That Susan Foreman in An Earthly Child, and there's a slight feeling of Susan Foreman in the character of Ace. Does somebody get there might be a slight correlation between them at all? There's something about Ace. I think slightly. She is slightly an unearthly child.
All right, I think I can see that. Plus, I really, you see, another thing that I wish they had done with Susan Foreman and they didn't was when they got to the Sensorites and she started developing her powers. I really wish they had gone further with that.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, because I think they really could have had some gold there. Okay, now we're going to go into the Christmas special. All right, this is what I have on it, and I'm going to drop it. And please feel free to stop me at any time for comment, any comment, question, or whatnot. Okay, it is currently untitled. They still haven't given it a title, but there's been different ones that have popped up here and there. There's possibilities. Okay, now I'm going to read you off the cast because I don't think it's listed anywhere yet. Okay, first off, we have Sheila Reid as playing Clara's grandmother. She also played Etta in Vengeance on Veros. Orla Brady is playing Tasha Lim, a Dalek-human hybrid like the ones in Asylum of the Daleks. Jack Hollington is playing a character named Barnable. Rob Jarvis is playing a character named Abramal. And Tessa Peake Jones, who some of you may know as Raquel from Only Fools and Horses, is playing Marta. Okay, here's the tidbits I do have. You're going to laugh your ass off at this first one. I guess. The Church of the Silence is back in this one. And I can't believe I'm about to utter this phrase because it does sound mad, but this is from a very reputable source. The Church have ninja nuns.
Oh,
Well, I can imagine that. That's what Moffat would write.
Okay, wait. This is Stephen Moffat. I'm not surprised. Go on.
Ninja nuns. And I thought the Cockney ninjas I invented were bad, but no. Okay. Now, as some of you may know, Matt Smith had knee surgery before he went in to film Christmas special this year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, how they're going to explain that is the Doctor is going to defeat a weeping angel with a mirror, but from what they're saying, the attack from the angel causes him to lose his leg.
what?
And he gets a wooden one.
What?
I'm not joking. If this had come from another source, I wouldn't even be reading this. But this is one of the guys who predicted the end of the Big Bang. This is one of the guys who predicted the end of Series 6. Because, it is maddening, I know, but this is a very reputable source.
I could just see it now. Wooden leg. I have a wooden leg now. Wooden legs are good. See?
So wait,
It's just magic.
does it say the angel takes his leg away?
Yeah, somehow he loses his leg in this battle with this angel.
Oh,
All right.
God.
Okay, yeah, let's carry on. That's fair. That's put everyone into a shock. Kind of thing.
Sorry, I got
Everyone knows how to respond to that.
Okay, you're going to love this. All right, my notes are a bit jumbled on this. The episode is basically the conclusion of the Series 6 story arc. Basically, what's going to happen is the Christmas town you saw, I'm assuming everyone's somewhere along the line, and don't worry, if you haven't seen it, I'll try to find the picture for you later, where they had a picture of some of the filming taking place in a place that looked like it was called Christmas Town.
Mm-hmm.
Christmas Town is Trenzalore in the past.
Okay, yeah.
Christmas Town, Trenzalore, yeah. I sensed an anagram.
Okay. Now, what happened was, the reason why nobody showed up in Name of the Doctor is because that was not the appointed time. It's coming now. Okay, so the town called Christmas is actually Trenzalore, and it does have a truth field in place. The Daleks will be the main villain of the episode, somehow getting all their knowledge back of the Doctor, so they're no longer going to be stupid. Lots of recurring monsters will be shown. Cybermen, Sontarans, Weeping Angels, the Cherubs, and the Silence. Now, apparently, what's happening is you find out that if the Doctor speaks his name, the time lock will be officially broken. Apparently, that's why he's been hiding from it. It turns out that was the code phrase he used for the time lock.
That's a good reason for it, I suppose.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, do you think he will actually explain it or be off screen?
Okay.
I think he's going to reveal his name.
So don't worry, they're never going to speak it on screen. That's pretty much a given. All right, this is what I have, and I think I finally got them all in order. And I wish I'd done this better, but it's just I received from like 2 or 3 reputable sources, and I've tried to put it all together into one big, comprehensible thing. Okay, the Doctor and Claire are forced to Trenzalore and to Christmas Town. This is where the Church of the Silence and Mainframe are based, with the silent monsters, aka the Silents themselves. Daleks, Cybermen, Weeping Angels, Sontarans arrive to destroy the town to prevent the Doctor from speaking his name and unlocking the Time War. They all fear the crazy Time Lords and the hell the war will bring. The Doctor knows he has to say his name, but if he does, the Time Lords will return, and if he doesn't, the enemies will attack, fearing him that they'll be speaking his name. Silence, soldiers, and silent monsters are attempting to fight off the enemies. The Doctor is hurt in battle. Angels won't send him back in time, as this is a fixed point and must happen. Well, get ready for this. It gets better. The battle seems to be going nowhere, with both sides weakened massively and becomes a stalemate. The enemies decide to wait until the Doctor dies of old age, knowing he can't regenerate, whilst the Church in silence haven't got the strength to destroy the enemies themselves. So the Doctor is stuck in a dilemma: risk returning the Time Lords, or having the enemies destroy Christmastown and probably himself, leaving nobody to save the universe. Clara is sent from Trenzalore at some point, but she will eventually return. The Doctor wanders Trenzalore for thousands of years before returning, knowing he's going to die, and hopes to sacrifice himself to stop the enemies destroying Christmastown, and hoping the universe can cope without him. Accepting the inevitable, he limps onto the fields, ready to face his final end. But before his enemies strike, he collapses, exhausted, tired, and too old. He remains still and dead for a long time. I hope you're all sitting down, because this is what's going to happen. Like I said, this is coming from a couple of very, very reputable sources. Otherwise, I wouldn't be reading this. Before exploding, destroying all of the enemies with regeneration energy. Clara and the Church try to reach him, but have to wait until the energy has dissipated, searching the battlefield for a body to bury with his TARDIS, but they cannot find it anywhere. It is assumed his body was obliterated, but Clara will not accept it until she stumbles onto the TARDIS with its doors open, entering, sad but half hoping to see the silly face she knows and the chin again. Stepping inside, it's all quiet, dark, and then suddenly you hear a voice with a very distinct Scottish accent. So there's a good possibility, based off what they've sent me, you're not even going to see the actual transformation.
Oh, that sucks.
But Capaldi will appear. Okay, questions, queries, shoot.
I actually quite like that. I think it might work.
And that's what I mean. It is so Moffat, and that's another reason why I tend to believe it.
It's so timey-wimey, and I think that it explains the fields of Trenzalore.
Plus, one of the reasons why they did it, that I was told, was the Doctor was basically going to die for the same reason that William Hartnell's character died, of old age. So it kind of ties back.
But I think, in a way, this works perfectly, though, because when we arrive at Trenzalore in The Name of the Doctor, it's very much destroyed, and it's very derelict. And they did say that the Doctor dies in Trenzalore, so maybe they don't know that the Doctor survived.
Wait a minute, but how do these guys all know that the Doctor can't regenerate anymore?
Very simple. This is going to be basically the Alliance. They've been keeping tabs on the Doctor for a very long time. Especially given just basically the intelligence. All right, the Daleks know all about Time Lords, and they know all about their abilities. And they do know how many times the Doctor has changed. They have that all on file. Same with the Cybermen. Please, anybody else want to jump in? Please feel free.
Yeah, it sounds good to me, but yeah, that sounds like it's going to be arse kicking.
Oh, it is. It's going to be epic. It's going to be huge. Did you have anything to say, Fezman? I keep saying you light up.
Oh yeah, sorry. I was going to say, well, you know that his name is the Time Lock? Like, and you know, say if he does mention his name, but you don't hear it, do you think that could maybe bring back the Time Lords for Series 8? Because did you mention a couple of months back that maybe like in Series 8 are there going to be more Time Lords?
Okay, let me answer your question, because this is very interesting. A couple months ago, and I remember even telling this on a broadcast, I was told about the 12 episodes for next year. They are going to be back-to-back. Plus, you're going to have a Christmas special. Why they decided to subtract one episode, I'm not sure. Because originally I heard what they're going to do is 12 one-hour episodes instead of 13 regular limit ones. And what happens is, what they also told me, but I didn't believe them, but now I kind of do, given on what's happening this year, is that the whole 12-episode story arc for Series 8 is going to be based off the Time Lords in some way. But it also fits, let me throw this in before we go back, John Hurt made a very peculiar tweet the night Peter Capaldi was announced as the Doctor, saying he was looking forward to working with him.
That would be quite arse-kicking.
Then the tweet was deleted, and he had to rewrite it.
So, basically, the 11th Doctor is going to die to stop the Time Lords from coming back.
Yes, and then Capaldi is the beginning of a whole new regeneration cycle, but I have yet to find any notes as to how that happens. And I think that might also be part of the focus for next season, is the Doctor trying to find out, wait a minute, why the hell am I still alive?
And it sounds like, see, I was under the impression that they are kind of bringing the Time Lords back, but then he's killing himself to stop them from coming back, and that's where I was getting confused.
All right, now let me give you, this is what also he included in the notes. All right, great. Now I can't find it. Okay, it was in another sheet, I bet. Dummy. All right, one of the spoilers I've read is that the time lock, for some reason or the other, will be broken. So even then, his efforts were in vain. The Time Lords are going to return, as are the Daleks, in full force.
Are you guys sure Moffat wrote this? Are you sure he didn't go talk to some little kids and use their imaginations?
Huh.
It sounds like it might be pretty good for the Christmas one.
Yes, it sounds like it's going to be freaking epic.
I
He had
wonder
to talk to some kids to get the idea.
I wonder if Time War Daleks and Alliance Daleks are going to end up being enemies.
That would be an interesting story arc. Yeah, also, I would love to see a Dalek Civil War.
This also puts a question in.
Sure.
What if the time lock is technically broken in the 50th, which ties into the Christmas? Because they seem to tie in a way.
Yeah, all right, now I just found it. It says right here, yeah, the time lock is broken, and all the Time Lords come back, and the Time War is unleashed again. That's what Matt Smith's era has been about, and that's what brought the universe's most feared enemies all together, because they didn't want to return to that. Because according to the original notes, and I think I don't think RTD had it as bad, but Moffat's going to throw this in apparently. The original Time War devastated over half the known universe.
Yeah, when even the Daleks don't want the destruction, it's bad.
Yeah, because even when they don't want their own relatives back, it's bad.
Yeah.
But then again, there's a lot of people who don't like their relatives. All right, AJ, you've been too quiet.
Yeah, I've just been pondering, maybe in the Christmas special, the Sisters of Khan resurrect the Doctor.
That's a very good possibility, because they do have that ability, as we've seen.
Yeah.
Also,
Because
they
they're
just
related.
set
Sorry.
back in Brain of Morbius. So go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going to say, because they're related to the Time Lords too, because they're distant cousins or something, aren't they?
Yeah, they're Daleks.
Right. Isn't Karn the neighboring planet of Gallifrey, I thought?
What it is,
Part of the seventh.
the Sisterhood started on Gallifrey. They're Gallifreyans that left and went to Karn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, I had to admit it last night. It's been a long, long time since I watched Brain of Morbius, and I'm definitely going to sit down and watch it again this week. I do have it on DVD here somewhere. Okay, so any questions, queries, or anything about the Christmas?
I'm just wondering, is Omega definitely going to be in it, or
No.
is it a hoax?
No.
Or is Moffat? No.
Omega, all right, let me explain what happened with Omega. Omega, what they did was, it was a deliberate, misleading paper trail that was put out by Moffat's writing team to throw off spoiler hounds. And even Moffat admitted it not too long ago in an article. And that's one I read, and I told everybody I have to take Omega off the table. Because if I remember right, he said, and I'll see if I can get the quote right, I even went as far as to say an enemy was coming back just to throw people off the trail. And that right there convinced me Omega was a totally bogus. Unfortunately, poor CJ from Doctor Who spoilers, he fell for that one. Also, apparently what happened was they also did is that for Name of the Doctor, John Hurt's lines, as they were written in that script, were under the name Omega as a code name.
Hmm.
Now, I think when they went to the Day of the Doctor script, though, they made it Dr. John, Dr. Matt, and Dr. David or something along that line, so that way they have everybody's lines so they didn't get mixed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere along that line, yeah. So that's it. I've dropped the chalupa. That's everything I have right now.
If it goes that route, I think if that is genuine, I think it'll tie up Series 5 to 7 perfectly.
Yeah, it turns out the Omega references were all a red herring deliberately thrown in there to screw with us. That's how Moffat works. The sneaky bastard. Oh yeah, Callan, let us say this now. We forgive the Scottish people for Stephen Moffat. Okay, we know you can't control these things.
Well,
I think I found a reason for Capaldi to have a Scottish accent, but I don't know if you want to hear it or not.
Oh, I actually, from what I've heard, he is going to be allowed to keep it.
Yeah, well, I found a reason why I could keep it. This could be. I don't know if you can hear this or not.
Well, I figure why not? They let Sylvester McCoy, pretty much keep his.
Sorry.
Sylvester McCoy, they pretty much let him keep his, so I don't see why.
Yeah. That's all right. Cool. Yeah. I think it could be good.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that's the reason why I forgive the Scottish people, because they did give us Stephen Moffat, but they did also give us Peter Capaldi.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't know if you can forgive us for Moffat, to be honest with you.
I believe Sheena Easton, who got me through my puberty, and but okay. So let's move on real quick before we bring this to a close. Did everyone here see the trailer for An Adventure in Space and Time?
Yes.
Okay, anybody not see it?
I don't know if I've seen a better one.
Okay, yeah, that's all it was. It was 30 seconds. I just want to go around and ask everybody what you think about the docudrama. Are you looking forward to it and whatnot? And let's start with Vil. Docudrama, what do you think? You looking forward to it?
Yes, I am looking forward to it. I thought it looked really cool, and I think that it proves that David Bradley should have had a part in the 50th anniversary as the first Doctor.
That's what I was hoping they were going to do, because, with Stephen Moffat and Caroline Skinner being co-executive producers on it at the time, plus the fact you've rebuilt the entire original TARDIS console room, I thought, who knows? I was hoping they really had taken advantage of it, but then again, this is Moffat. You never know.
And can you imagine if he would have come on screen with Carol Ann Ford? How cool that would be.
Oh, hell yes. Plus the fact that all right, I forgot to throw this in with the question. You've all heard about the ending scene, right, where it's going to be David Bradley as William Hartnell. He's standing at the console. He looks up, and standing there across from him at the console is Matt Smith as the Doctor.
Yeah.
Okay, so feel free to add any comment on about that as well. All right, let's go to Callan.
Yeah, well, I can't wait. It sounds really, really good. I'm looking forward to that almost as much, perhaps more than the 50th.
Yeah, and as I said last night, 90 minutes. Oh. Okay, Ross?
Yeah, again, I'm looking forward to it. Possibly more than the 50th. Just mainly because they're going back, I think. And it's exploring what a lot of people don't really know about the birth of Doctor Who, because there was a massive struggle with it to get it out and done. So yeah, I'm really interested to see that, and I think he's got perfect casting choices. So.
Oh yeah, just judging based off the pictures and all that I've seen, incredible choices. Plus, Doctor Who man brought up a good thing last night. Wouldn't it be nice if later on they went back and did a part 2 showing how they had to continue the show with Patrick Troughton?
That's what I was just thinking. Yeah, that'd be pretty good.
Because that was big. Poor Patrick. When you all right, if you ever get a chance, go out and get the autobiography his son Michael, because he was so scared that he was going to kill the show. Because he had to fill Bill Hartnell's shoes, and then he had to keep the show going, and he thought, oh great, I'm going to be the one that kills Doctor Who. But turns out he was fantastic. All right, AJ.
Yeah, I saw the trailer. It was pretty awesome. The one part I liked was where David Bradley as William Hartnell is sitting down holding his lapels, and he just says that famous line, Doctor Who, and raises his eyebrows.
Oh, yes. Not to mention
that was brilliant.
The recreation of the Dalek invasion of Earth scenes. And
yes.
Also the original Cyberman. Okay, Fezman?
Yeah, I think it's very good. And well, you know what's funny? Did you hear? But Mark Gatiss had to sort of fight to sort of make it happen because he had doubts it was sort of going to be made. Did you read something on that? No.
Yeah, he's been trying to get
Yeah.
this thing made for, if I remember right, somewhere along 15 years.
Oh right.
Yeah, and he's this has been a project that's been on his mind for a long time, and I guess he's pitched it many a times for different places, and then finally for this year they decided to do it. For the BBC did. And now one of the things I'm really hoping is that not only do we have all the classic guys watching this, but that we also have a lot of the new fans who are going to learn just how difficult it was, as Ross said, to get this thing off the ground. Because imagine you walk into somebody's office. Imagine there was no Doctor Who in the world, and you walked in and go, I want to do a show about a time-traveling alien. He travels in this big blue box. It's bigger on the inside than it is on the out, and he can go anywhere in time and space, and he's got 2 hearts, and they'd smack you up and lock you in the loony bin. But
It's pretty much like that, yeah.
especially trying to do that in the 60s. When television, was in its infancy still, and you had sitcoms, you had this, you had that, and then a little bit later on you had Star Trek. But imagine pitching that into an American television station. My gosh, I think they'd throw you out on your ear. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. The guy would probably get on the phone and say, send a couple of guys with white coats and one of the nice cardigans, the ones that tie up round the back. A straight jacket.
Exactly. Okay, well, I'm going to go around the panel, and I'm going to, since we've, run the gamut, I'm going to get final thoughts from everybody, and then we'll bring this thing to a close. All right, let's start with the Fezman. You have any final thoughts, hopes, or anything like that? Vivian?
Well, even though it doesn't look as though the likes of Omega might be in the 50th, and there may not be classic Doctors, I'm still looking forward to it because we go into the cinema and it'd be an experience because it'd be the first and only time it'd be in the cinemas. And the docudramas this coming Thursday, I'm definitely looking forward to see that as well. And then we also got the Christmas special as well in December, and with all the stuff they give us there, it definitely looks exciting. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. Yeah.
Me too. Like I said, I've been telling everybody, yeah, I know I've been a little bit hard on it, but sure, I'm going to be very, very upset if the classic Doctors aren't there. But, you never know. He may knock me off my feet. It still may be an incredible, epic saga-type story. I may be totally wrong, and that's why I'm going to sit down and watch it myself, give it a fair hearing, and give it a fair watch. Okay.
Sorry, can I say something else?
Oh, go ahead.
Just one quick thing about Moffat. I thought of a new name for Stephen Moffat. Are most of you familiar with Game of Thrones?
All right, pardon?
The show Game of Thrones. Are you familiar with it? Yeah.
Oh yes. Oh yeah. I'll watch it.
The character Varys, and he's part of the court in the King's Landing.
Yeah.
What he's called the Master of Lies, or no, is he Spies? Is it the Master of Lies and Spies?
Oh, you're talking about the spider?
Oh yeah. Well. You know what? It doesn't matter.
The unit guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. But I was going to call Moffat the Master of Lies just because of he lies so much.
Well, he's a devious guy, but I have to admit he's doing it for a good reason.
Yeah.
Because to a lot of people last night, that that moment when you turned around and it was Paul McGann, I guarantee you, there were I bet underwear sales across the planet went through the roof because they had to buy replacement ones, unless you were wearing Depends. But okay, let's move on to AJ. Any final thoughts or anything like that for the 50th?
I'm just hoping the 50th will be as epic as we all hope it is, and if it's not, we're going to lynch Stephen Moffat. That's my personal opinion. So the BBC can't hunt me down and kill me.
Yeah, or as I said, we'll hang him by a Tom Baker scarf.
But just one question about the Christmas episode.
Sure.
You say that Matt Smith will die of old age. Will they physically age him like they did for Tom Baker or David Tennant, or?
From what I'm hearing, he is going to be physically aged in makeup.
Okay, all right, just checking on that. But yeah, that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
Ross?
Yeah, well, it's 7 days away, isn't it? So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. In a way, I don't think, as long as it's a good story and it goes somewhere different and sort of continues the story, I wouldn't mind if classic Doctors don't have an appearance. Because I think that the audio drama right at the end just did it brilliantly, how it added all them together. So, sorry?
I said, oh, yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, so that's, at the moment, that's where I'm standing. If it's a disappointment, then, well, we'll have words with Moffat later. But, yeah, at the moment, I'm looking forward to it, and I hope he does well. And I hope, in the way, he changes Doctor Who. I hope he, like, throws, like, an F-bomb as it will. So you always go, oh my god, didn't expect that. And I hope that it takes off there. Because I think if someone could do it, Moffat can definitely do it. So that's my...
All right, Callan, any final hopes, thoughts, or anything like that for the 50th?
Well, I'm just hoping it's going to be good. After Night of the Doctor, that was a pretty high standard. If Day of the Doctor matches that standard, well, we should be happy, I would say.
Okay. Bill?
Well, my opinion, and this is my opinion, is that thanks to Stephen Moffat, Whovians young and old, right alongside Tom Baker, Peter Davison, Colin Baker, Sylvester McCoy, and yes, also Paul McGann, will have to heal from some serious mushroom-shaped bruises after the 50th, or let's call it what it really is, the 8th anniversary of New Who airs.
Okay. All right, well, folks, that's going to be it for tonight's show. I really want to thank my panel again for being with us. I love having you guys on. And hopefully, join us next week for the After 50 podcast. Like I said, we're still in flux. I haven't even got a time for it yet. I got to put a guest list for it together yet. But until then, everybody take care. Have a great Saturday. Enjoy your rest of your weekend.
Enjoy your shroom bruises.
Okay. And that's